and gentlemen, welcome to the EMA Honors Gala 2018. Let's please give a hand to the President and CEO of the Environmental Media Association, Debbie Levin.
Welcome, everybody, and thank you so much for being at the EMA Honors Benefit Gala. It's really such a gift to welcome you all here tonight in this beautiful, beautiful nature-filled setting. Our organization is nearly 30 years old, and the iconic Ema Awards just celebrated our 28th year. Launching into new traditions seems to be in the air for the last couple of years. We just had our second overwhelmingly successful Ema Impact Summit, where we bring innovators, scientists, and influencers all together to share the newest green technology that is here now, not in the future, but now, including our Ema version of Shark Tank, challenging a panel of judges to choose the recipient of our Ema Future Innovator of the Year grant. And tonight, our jewel, I mean, look around, this is just beautiful. Tonight is the night that we get to celebrate our heroes. Ema Honors does just that. There are so many charities, so many truly heart-wrenching problems to be solved: injustice, disease, hatred, but the planet we live on is our home. I wasn't an environmentalist growing up. Honestly, I had no idea what that really was, other than people who love to be in nature and really love to go to national parks. As a young woman and a young mother in the 80s, a recycling bin was delivered to my house. It was a rectangle yellow bin about the size that would fit a week of flat newspapers, maybe a can. I got very excited. I recycled everything I could get my hands on. I was rinsing glass containers. I was even rinsing plastic straws, knowing something must be off about using those things just once. I wasn't sure what the real problem with landfills were, but I was into it. Raising two young kids, that was not something that I felt I had time to research. And research in the 80s was going to the library, not typing into a phone that back then was not too smart and very often attached to a wall. Our air in Southern California had improved. The blanket of smog lifted and all was good in my world. Chemical sweeteners were a revelation. You got to have sugar without calories. Amazing. There was no messaging in the media to tell us that that was not right and what was not right on our planet. Of course, our beautiful and brilliant Ed Begley, Ed, I forgot where I put you, right here. You're right there. Sitting here with us tonight, he knew, and he started talking about it, and he started acting about it. And most of us literally had no clue that the hormones in our milk and the pesticides in our produce had chemicals that not only could we not pronounce, but side effects we could not even fathom. Late in 1999, I was invited to a luncheon. So I thought it sounded fun and sat down at the table, and I listened. The mission of this organization seemed to me to be the most urgent and important thing in the world. It was that lightning bolt moment. The environment, our world, was becoming stripped and destroyed by human activity. Our homes were filled with toxins and dangerous chemicals. The cars we drove were spitting out fumes that we were ingesting and causing catastrophic illnesses throughout the globe. Why didn't I know? Why didn't most of us not know? Because we needed a voice, or a lot of voices. Somehow, I asked too many questions to the Ema board chair that I was sitting next to, and he asked me to lunch the next day. After 2 hours, I was the new president of an organization that I had really no experience running, no clue about the intricacies of the environmental world, and no more organizational experience than running committees at my kids' schools. But this is our world, this is our earth, and I'm a mom, and now I'm a grandmom. It's our job to leave a safe, functioning planet for our children and for their children. We tell the stories. The story of our inescapable green revolution is the most important story of our generation. We know that for every baby born and every citizen of our planet, we need to make the story our reality. Sustainable solutions are here, and you are all huge keys to the metamorphosis. What we're able to do now in an instant with content is astonishing in its power and its impact. Our mission at EMA is to be the storytellers for the environment, the storytellers that many of you here didn't have growing up. Combining all the ways of storytelling is the power we now have to be the voice for our planet. There's a lot of noise coming from the other side, trying to convince us that oil and coal are great vehicles for energy. They're safe, they're non-polluting. What do we have? No worries about where our water comes from. The giant grapes in the market are, of course, bigger and better because we have the right chemicals to pump into them that are so healthy for our family. EMA's role is to squash those lies. We need to fight the billion-dollar corporations that do not have sustainable goals and a federal government that is poisoning our communications by buying their ability to tell lies. Our truth needs to be louder, and that's exactly what we do and are so thankful for your support to be even louder than we are. This is a magical night, and we are honoring the warriors that have been fighting to educate and motivate the public to understand the truth of keeping our earth filled with our natural resources and keeping our families healthy. Our warriors, our honorees, are not only heroes, but all have a very close and important relationship with EMA and with me. They are my heroes. Having each of them with us is the most intimate and correct way for us to launch our very first, very special EMA Honors Gala. Thank you to our incredible family of sponsors, John Paul Mitchell Systems, LA Car Guy, hey guys, Ecos, Montage International, Kellogg Garden Products, Biosense, Monterey Bay Aquarium, Just Water, Patron, and Star Wagons. And to our family who have been our partners in every step we've taken for almost 18 years, the singular most innovative automotive company, Toyota Motor Sales. Woo! Beyond thanks to our generous and very brave hosts tonight, Joey and John, for graciously donating your spectacular home. We are at EMA Honors tonight because these women bugged me and bugged me and bugged me that the EMA Awards were too long and that we have to split our events and have our remarkable honorees have their own night. And they bugged me and bugged me. Girls, you were right. Whoever has an organization here, be jealous because I have them. I could never have imagined the involvement, the total creative vision, and execution and complete support from our host committee. Our event chair, the amazing, talented Esty Stanley, whose creative vision we are encompassed by all around us. And thank you, Hancock Design, for sharing her talent with us. Esty, please stand up because she won't come on stage. Stand up. I love you. And our incredibly dedicated, with both time and vision, host committee, Alex Monkarsh. Alex, stand up. Marina Afshar. And Madison Carcenti. Woo! I love you. I love you all so much. Really could not have done this tonight without you. There are no words of how grateful Emma is for your total belief in our mission and importance of sharing our message. You are my angels. You are all my angels. And now, please welcome activist, environmentalist, actor, wife, and mom, our beautiful host for the evening, the trailblazing Ellen Pompeo.
You hear that, Esther? She called me a trailblazer. Me and Snoop. Thank you, Debbie. Welcome, everybody, to the first ever Emma Honors. For 27 years, Emma has honored the most influential green leaders in the entertainment industry and beyond. And I feel honored to be here as part of that story of the organization that celebrates all sorts of storytellers who are using their power to change the environmental narrative. Tonight, we are thrilled to be honoring one of my heroes as an actress and as an engaged citizen, Jane Fonda, with the Female Ema Lifetime Achievement Award. Halbritter. Sorry. You can throw stuff at me, I don't even mind. With the Male Lifetime Achievement Award. Lizabeth Olsen with the Ema Futures Award. And Mike Sullivan with the Ema Corporate Responsibility Award. And of course, you cannot leave early because we're going to end the night with a performance with someone who knows more about trees than any of us, Snoop Dogg. And we have to thank Chef Ludo. Where is he? Ludo is the owner and chef of Twamec, named #1 restaurant in Los Angeles by LA Weekly. Owner and chef of Petit Trois, Trois Familia, and Ludo Bird, author of 2 cookbooks, Crave and Ludo Bites. And he was awarded the Chevalier des Arts de Lettres, I don't speak French, by the French government. He is officially a knight. Word? Really? You're a knight, Ludo?
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Wow.
You did all
I'm not
right.
going to bow to you, though, or anything like that. So, Ludo, here
Thank
you
you.
are. You're on
Merci,
stage. I told me to
merci.
tell you to come here, but see, you didn't wait for me to tell you. You just jumped up here.
No.
Thank
No,
you,
thank you.
everybody, for making the choice to be here tonight. We all have choices to make in this life, and tonight we are reminded that the environmental movement can no longer be simply an important cause, but it has to be a way of life for all of us, and we can change the narrative in the choices that we make. For instance,
Merci.
we can all say no to single-use plastics in our homes, but also, I do, and I know they find it super annoying, I go to all my favorite restaurants and local takeout places, and I ask these businesses that we support to do their part to reduce waste and be a part of the solution rather than the problem. Okay, so that sermon is over, and on with the honors. Here we go. Our first, she gets a big kick out of me, SG. That's why I keep you around. Our first honoree is one of the greatest and gutsiest human beings on the planet. We love her, Jane Fonda. And to do the honors, please welcome not just her friend and her longtime co-star, but another legendary lady I admire, Lily Tomlin.
Well, thank you all a lot. And thank you, Ellen. I am here tonight because I love Jane Fonda. And I love the planet. And I love the planet she has been working so hard to help save for years. In a town where relationships can be very plastic, our friendship has been 100% renewable, remarkably sustainable, and thank God we've been very good at recycling it. As a few of you here tonight are old enough to remember, many years ago we worked together on 9 to 5. Boy, oh boy, it was her project. She was one of the producers. She was the idea generator, casting director, everything. Wait, I forgot to mention she also had a starring role. That was when I realized what a true life force Jane Fonda is. Jane has never been satisfied being just a legendary star. Maybe that seemed too easy for her. She's been much more concerned with being simply a good citizen. And she is so much more than that. With her big brain, her kind heart, her higher consciousness, she has become one of the important influencers on our planet today. She certainly has been an influence to me. Last year, she was deeply involved with the protests at Standing Rock. she asked my partner, Jane Wagner, and me to buy a yurt. We weren't sure exactly what a yurt was. However, if Jane asked, we knew it was important. So we bought one. We actually bought two. And we still are not entirely sure what a yurt is. Jane has always taken whatever power she had and used it to make an important and positive difference in the world. Jane, you've done so much to protect the environment. You are an actual American hero, not only to Debbie, but to me, definitely. Can you please think of something we can do to protect the environment from Scott Pruitt? I'm so pleased to announce the award for the Lifetime Achievement Award for the Environmental the Environmental Media Award. Don't give her a mental award, whatever you do. To the one and only, my favorite earthling, Jane Fonda.
Thank you. Thank you, Lily. See, I think Grace and Frankie should get an Environmental Media Award. I mean, Frankie makes her vaginal lube out of yams. And Grace, being a consummate businesswoman, wants to do it commercially. And of course, she wants it to have a shelf life. And Frankie goes out of her way to teach Grace that you can't have palm oil in your vaginal lube or in anything else. Because you get palm oil, they chop down the forest where the orangutans are facing extinction. And another thing, when we went into the vibrator business, it was no parabens in the, I mean, Grace and Frankie is on the forefront of environmental warriorship. I just thought of that tonight. This is great. Thank you so much. You know, compared to Ed Begley, I feel like a slouch. I mean, he's been walking the talk and riding the bikes, and you know, it's just unbelievable for decades and decades. But I don't know why this is called the first ever award ceremony. I gave an award to my favorite ex-husband a few years ago, and at a studio. I'm going to recycle a joke I told. See, he's given tens of millions of dollars to stop female genital mutilation. He puts his money where his mouth is. So anyway, thank you. This means a lot to me. Emma's doing good work. But frankly, you know, what we're up against, this is an existential crisis that we're facing. This is really serious. We have to do everything we can to take back the House in the midterm in November. Yeah, that's a midterm election. And so anything you all can do to move that forward, please do, because that's what's, if anything can save us, it's going to be taking back our government. Thank you very much. I'm really honored by this.
To celebrate our next honoree, please welcome entrepreneur and humanitarian John Paul DeJoria.
Thank you. This is a favorite thing to do, to not only find a gentleman that deserves something, but a whole history that comes along with it. I know many people say, God, JP, when you started Patron, you had recycled glass. Paul Mitchell never tests on animals, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But that's not why I'm saying this. None of this compares at all to our next awardee. This gentleman comes from a history of people that cared about Mother Earth. Chief Ray is not just one who's deserving of great awards. He's not just one that looked at people and said, I'm going to make sure our nation makes it, and we're going to reinvest in our people, but he also is carrying forth something that's been around for thousands of years, and they're never acknowledged for it. When our ancestors came here to North America and said, we want that land, the Native Americans said, you can't own land. Mother Earth owns the land. It's only for us to use. And that's what they could not understand, how somebody could come in from a foreign country and say, we're taking over your land, here's some beads, or just get off or we're going to kill you. They couldn't understand it because they knew how precious the planet Earth was. They knew the way they were brought up, that you must take care of Mother Earth, that Mother Earth is all of us. No one owns it. It's our job to take care of it. So as the various nations would move around, they would pick up everything behind them and leave no litter. Now, this gentleman is extraordinary. Not only has he been to Harvard, but even started there with a professor to make sure that Native Americans could go there, other people could go there. The Oneida Native Americans are a nation, but they're a nation that represents many nations throughout our country and throughout the world. Nations that forever have been taking care of the planet until a lot of our ancestors came along and really screwed it up. But yet this man continued on for his nation and for our nation, all peoples, to make sure that whatever they did was with sustainability in mind. Whether they had the Hard Rock cafes, casinos, or many other things they're involved with, how ecological can we make it? How can we make it sustainable? How can we give jobs to our people and other people that are also sustainable and make the planet the way it used to be when we were here before others came and screwed it up a little bit? With great pride, I introduce to you Chief Ray Halbritter. Ray? Chief Ray Halbritter, we present you with your Lifetime Achievement Award, sir, on behalf of you and many nations.
All right, thank you, very kind. Thank you very much. Thank you. Sagoli, Skanagoga, Yawango, Gayongwalori, Niamgats. I bring you greetings of peace from the Oneida Indian Nation to everyone gathered here tonight. Thank you for this prestigious award, and I'm most humbled and honored by this gesture. It has been my great honor to work with Debbie Levin and this amazing group for so many years. The work everyone in this room is doing, what they're doing is so important. We know that so much of the political debate and public policy discourse is shaped by the media's portrayal of environmentalism and conservation. And so making sure that media covers and publicizes scientific truths is absolutely critical to the future of this planet. And thank you, JP, for presenting this award. Getting to know you has been one of the highlights of my involvement with Ema. Your life story and your philanthropic leadership are truly inspiring. In getting to know JP, I've come to realize that we share a few similar life moments. We've both been homeless at one point, we've both faced enormous challenges, and we've both persevered through the hard times in the hope of bringing about a change in the world. He sold Patron, I quit drinking. This confirms a valuable life lesson that we are all so much more similar than different, and that great results can happen when we seek out those points of connectivity in other people. Since time immemorial, my people have valued the cause of environmentalism. Only we didn't call it environmentalism. It was and is instead an entire way of life for our people, because we are eternally rooted in the sacred homelands, our Mother Earth. We have known, as the Katsinas of the Nuxal Nation put it, that we must protect the forest for our children, our grandchildren, and the children yet to be born. We know that if we do not protect the environment, our people and future generations simply will not enjoy and benefit from creation as it was intended. We know that whether it is protecting clean water and clean air, combating climate change, or standing up to oil pipeline companies at Standing Rock, we are obligated to be a voice for the seventh generation to the future. And we know that part of advocating for those future generations requires that the media and entertainment industries promote accurate and responsible messages about the need for environmental stewardship. Right now, things can seem bleak for those of us who've been fighting the good fight for an environmental cause. But as I stand here and consider how unlikely that someone like me is in a room like this, I know that often the darkest moments come just before breakthrough successes. In some ways, my own life experience tracked the experience of the environmental movement. Back in the 1970s, I was living at times in both a tent, a trailer park, and a small community of Oneida people on the economic outskirts of society. Members of my family burned to death in a fire when the local authorities refused to respond to desperate and repeated calls for help. Those were very dark times, to say the least. But we were able to change our plight with hard work, vision, and an unwavering commitment to progress. We surely began to resurrecting our community, our culture, ultimately turning an empty cornfield into a Condé Nast Premier Award-winning tourist destination, and the region's largest employer. Thank you. With those revenues, our enterprises now generate help to not only sustain this generation's economy, but also the prosperity of future generations who will benefit from all these public investments in education, social services, and infrastructure. Obviously, I've left out many of the details of that story, but it is in this the same story arc as the environmental movement. Back in the late 60s and early 70s, cities were choking on air pollution. Companies were brazenly dumping chemicals into rivers to the point where one river infamously burst into flames. The idea of creating a powerful environmental movement that would include Ema and all of the people in this room seemed like a distant dream. But through hard work and vision, a true movement was built, one that ultimately passed landmark environmental laws and changed the larger culture. Even though things today seem precarious, we still see that progress from the routine activities like recycling and driving hybrid and electric vehicles from these efforts to spectacular things like massive solar electric projects and huge wind farms. In the renaissance of the Oneida Indian Nation, countless members of my tribe were in the frontline warriors in the fight for respect. Society didn't care about us and ignored us to the point where our people were left to burn to death. But we persevered. It's the same story of the environmental movement that we are all a part of. People in this place were among those who were the frontline warriors demanding that we respect this planet. Society did not care about the destruction being wrought and largely wanted to ignore the awful effects of a polluted ecosystem. But through groups like Ema and others, again, we persevered. Today, the policies coming out of Washington are deeply troubling to those of us who believe we must do more to protect our environment, certainly not less. We are seeing an unprecedented attempt to roll back the most basic environmental regulations. However, this assault on environmental protection would be even more devastating had the environmental movement not been working with the media and entertainment industries to educate the world about the dangers of ecological devastation. Books, TV shows, and movies from Erin Brockovich to An Inconvenient Truth have energized and motivated millions of people to deeply value the environmental cause and not sit idly by when environmental protections are gutted. We have so much work in front of us. But at moments like this, we must derive strength from the power of our own shared story. We must look back on how far we've come and see our own trajectory as a motivational parable about the value of persistence. As Frederick Douglass once said, power concedes nothing without a demand. We must celebrate our victories and understand the broader threats that we face. Tonight, I'm very happy to report that journalist Jenny Monet, who was improperly arrested last year while reporting on the Dakota Access Pipeline protest for Indian Country Today Media Network, was fully exonerated. The Oneida Nation, which owned and ran the media outlet at the time, has continued to support Jenny. Through our nonprofit organization, the American Indian Action Fund, and with generous support from various partners, we were able to cover the legal fees of her trial on charges of criminal trespassing, among others. Jenny's courageous commitment to sharing the reality of the Dakota Access Pipeline water protests in the face of adversity is an inspiration to all those fighting for journalistic rights and environmental justice, as well as those working to shine a light on the critical issues facing Indigenous peoples in this country. I'm pleased to tell you Jenny is here with us tonight. I would like you to stand and please be recognized. Ladies and gentlemen, Jenny Monet. Good. What happened to Jenny is not an anomaly. We must be vigilant in the face of state power with the support of a justice system being used to undermine our environment and our communities. Jenny represents everything Ema is about, and we are grateful for her courage. The seventh generation of our children yet unborn are counting on every one of us here to continue making our demands on behalf of our planet's survival. Together we must persist, and if we do, I know we can fulfill our moral obligation, not just for our generation, but for future generations to come, yet unborn. Dane.
To present the Ema Futures Award to Lizabeth Olsen, please welcome two sisters who will make us all feel better about the future, the founders of the Latitude Project, Jennifer and Alana Tynan.
We are thrilled to stand together tonight to help honor our beloved spokesperson, board member, and friend, Lizabeth Olsen, receive the EMA Futures Award. For half a decade now, Lizzie has honored us and our nonprofit, the Latitude Project, with her eloquent voice, her empowering vision, her keen intellect, and her open heart. Although we briefly met Lizzie as children, while our families spent a week by the same hotel pool, it wasn't until later in life that we got the chance to really get to know who Lizabeth Olsen truly is.
A number of years ago, Lizzie had planned a trip to Nicaragua and apparently heard about the sisters. Two crazy sisters working with locals to bring sustainable change where it's needed most. Over dinner, we had a chance to talk about what we do, which is give a voice to communities in Latin America to express their greatest needs and to work together to build sustainable solutions. Lizzie dared to join us for a few days to see firsthand the work that Latitude was doing. We could immediately see that wherever she is, she's there for the right reasons. Lizzie isn't driven by the recognition that may come with environmental work, but by the opportunity to unlock human potential and to fuel real change in the world.
This winter, Lizzie joined us in Nicaragua for the third time to build clean water solutions for a community that was devastated by Hurricane Nate. Undaunted by the language barrier, Lizzie put everyone at ease with her bright smile and joyful demeanor. She was the first to grab supplies and begin installation, unconcerned with breaking a nail or getting dirty, which is sometimes the case out there. Lizzie takes a hands-on and thoughtful approach to everything that she does, and on that trip alone, we were able to provide clean drinking water for everyone in that village.
At the Latitude Project, so much of what we do comes down to issues that speak to Ema's mission, including sustainable clean water solutions, sanitation initiatives, and rural medical programs. As many of you know, impoverished communities around the world often feel the effects of climate change first and the most deeply. Having been in Nicaragua for nearly a decade, we have seen firsthand how climate change has already dramatically impacted the environment in the rural communities we work with. Men, women, and children quickly see the impact on their crops and on their lives.
These are people who are acutely aware of the significance of their relationship with Mother Nature because they're not padded by the safeguards and comforts that can disconnect us from our natural environment. Lizzie's passion for these life-changing projects has extended our reach and provided a platform that we could have only dreamed of before meeting her, such as right now. When Lizzie joined our board of directors, she approached the issue of how she could be of help to us and to our project with tremendous humanity and humility, but also real insight about how she could use her voice to spread the word and increase the impact of what it is that we're doing.
At the heart of what we're doing is asking people what they need and listening when they answer. And what we've learned about Lizzie over the years is that she always has a genuine interest in getting to know people, listening to their situations and truly understanding the problems they face. That has made her such a valuable part of the Latitude Project. And so, for all these and far too many other reasons to mention tonight, Lizzie has already made the world of difference in our lives and in our work to help others. Standing here today fills us with an immense gratitude for our own good fortune and the opportunity that we have to make the world a better place by facing the future together. So we could not be more happy or grateful to present this Ema Futures Award to Lizabeth Olsen.
Give it to her.
You can take it.
Hi, I'm really scared of public speaking. So I brought this as a comfort blanket, but I'm going to try and use this. I want to thank Alana and Jen for being here. They live in Canada, and I feel really fortunate because there's no reason for me to be here without them. It wouldn't make sense. I want to thank EMA and Debbie for thinking to honor me at all, and for the vote of confidence. It's really meaningful to be here tonight in such spectacular company, including Miss Jane Fonda, who played my grandmother in my first film, like 9 or 10 years ago. You are such an inspiration to women of all generations. So thank you for your life work. So I wanted to take the time up here just to celebrate Jen and Alana and the work they do. Like they said, we met in Nicaragua, and I was supposed to be on a vacation, and they were working very hard. And I did. I joined them on a day trip where we distributed school supplies and recreational materials and played soccer with the kids. And it was a school that they had built. But it was on our drive back from visiting the school that we stopped at one of the poorest homes within the incredibly impoverished community. This man, Ariel, his home was maybe 200 square feet, walls built of various materials, a tarp for a roof, and the dirt as his floor. And he was the happiest man when he saw Alana and Jen. And they were there to bring him his children's school uniforms, because you have to wear a uniform in school in Nicaragua. And he wanted to share with us his animals and his home, and he would call the Tynan sisters his angels. And it was then that I could recognize the impact that they have had on so many individuals within Nicaragua and the communities that they've been helping. So I'm sharing this story because it represents to me what the Latitude Project is, whether it is building roofs, latrines, well pumps that are safe for children, schools, water filters. They also have provided the first healthcare program for hundreds of families that had never had access to it in their life. Jen and Alana have inspired and empowered every individual they work with. They don't enter these communities as saviors, but as partners and friends. And they always ask, like they said, the communities what they need, and then they, together with the people, build that. There's no imperialism. And just to witness the gratitude these communities have for the sisters has been the greatest gift and encouragement. The Latitude Project builds not just physical structures, but hope and pride. And at our event tonight, surrounded by all these storytellers, I believe that theirs is a story worth telling. And what EMA does so well and uniquely is strongly encourage and educate our most powerful storytellers to use their voice and power to spread the word of unknown stories like the Latitude. Or I'm going to read what I wrote, actually. So the real-life superheroes like the Tynans who fight the daily fight to help contribute to this planet we all share and all the people with whom we share it. And so in the name of that spirit of making our planet a better and more sustainable place, I am very proud to accept this, and I'll try and justify it and your faith in me. So thank you for having me here tonight and allowing me to take this clumsy time to honor these incredible women.
Here to stand up together for a stand-up LA car guy, Lance Bass, Ed Begley Jr., Wendy Malick, and Perry Reeves.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Boy, girl, boy, girl.
We are all standing together to do something never before attempted by working actors and performers. A free car commercial. And because we are extremely fond of our honoree, Mike Sullivan, I will start with my deeply personal car confession. I remember Debbie Levin telling me how much she adored her new Prius, and I told her it looked like an orthopedic shoe. She swore that if I would just open my heart, I would come to love my Prius. And she was right. That funny-looking little shoe-like vehicle won me over in an enormous way. Every time I drove her, I felt proud to be green, thrilled to get into that carpool lane, and grateful that Prii and other clean cars were becoming cool. That was the first of 3 hybrid cars I bought from the LA car guy and former surf dude, who actually I think is in this book about Topanga Beach experience. And I remain one satisfied customer.
Thank you. Ed Begley Jr., isn't he incredibly lifelike? Big hand, please. As you know, I love a bike more than the next guy, but even I have to occasionally admit cars can come in handy at some point. I'm the OG for the EV1, but on the emotional rebound, I thought the very first Prius, and I bought it, and I've never not had one since. See how good I am with a prompter? I also bought an electric RAV4 and probably every hybrid variation from Mike, who I love. I'm very satisfied, but in a slightly less sexy way than Wendy. Thank you.
We're skipping Hart. Hart's not here.
Hart's not here. I'll fill in for Hart, and I will skip past him. Perry.
Okay, I'm up next. Hi. So I still remember when I got the call, my first Prius was in, and that I had to come right away. It was Halloween, and I was so excited that I was actually told if I didn't come on that day, and I'm like, look, I'm getting ready to go to a party, and they said, you have to come right now, we're giving it away. And this was that year, that first year where the shape that you now know was out, so it was, I was 300 and something on the waiting list, and I got pushed to the front. So I rushed in, it was Halloween, and I was in my bat costume. I thank Mike for all that he's done in you're making all of the shift that we all have these clean cars, that they're accessible. You don't have to be on a waiting list anymore. You can just get one. And I'm on my second one, so I've had 2 in 15 years. So I like to drive them until they die. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, I'm the newbie here. Wow, that's really loud. I'm not an Ema newbie, right? It's been well over a decade that I've been dodging Debbie's stare as I try to run out of whatever car I was driving. That was not, yes, it took me a little while to get with the program, but as Emma's co-chair, I want to give you my solemn word that I'm all organic and local. I have my own edible garden, and I preach sustainability everywhere I go. It was really embarrassing, though. Every event, I would park a block away because I didn't want people to see what car I was driving. It was awful. All right, but now I'm ready for the deep dive. So ready to have my car reflect my commitment to our Earth. And in the next 2 weeks, I'm picking up my Mirai. That's right. hydrogen-fueled Mirai from the only LA car guy who's made going green look so cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Sullivan.
Well, first of all, the other three honorees, eat your heart out. I clearly won the Presenter by Ensemble Award, so y'all have no chance at that. It's really interesting. A lot of the things that I do are really a bunch of little things, I think, and hopefully they aggregate up into something more meaningful. Whether it's Robin and I living off the grid, driving off the grid most of the time. There's cars that aren't, but most. Our beach cleanup days, green gardens, delivering nominees to the Academy Awards. Yeah, years ago in a Prius, we delivered everybody in 2003. Not everybody. We delivered 9 people to the Academy Awards. It was everybody to me, and it was Harrison Ford, and it was a big deal. And we delivered them in Prius, and that car in 2003 was pretty weird for those of you that had a first-generation Prius. The Toyota table's even kind of ducking. But it was a start, and Hollywood was a big part of us telling that story. Debbie talks about storytelling all the time, and Hollywood and my link to you all was a big part of telling that story and making sustainable cars cool. Science fairs at the dealership, building LEED certified buildings, and just conservation kind of at all levels. I really see my job as simply someone who's, it's my job to make things easy to change, make it easier for you all to change, make it not a fight like most people have with change. So things like those charging stations and stuff 15 years ago were, me and Ed used them, and that was it. I've been lucky to have some great mentors over the years. Clearly, our Debbie, Ed Begley, Mark Gold, Matt Peterson, and a host of others. Thank you guys. I'd like to thank my car partners, Toyota and Lexus, the table over here, Toyota and Lexus for being such a great, genuine partner for years. And that Japanese culture goes back so far to doing things right for the next generation. We talk about short-term solutions are 50 to 75 years. Long-term solutions are 100 years. And it's a genuine attitude at Toyota. It's a pleasure. But Toyota and Lexus, Volkswagen, Porsche, Audi, Subaru, and my newest partners, Honda. So thank you guys. The video showed my real motivation for Robin, Sean and Paige, Kelly and Veronica, Megan and Chris, my whole LA car guy family in the back. And the big one, those 3 plus 1 on the way, beautiful little grandbabies that were in the video. There was a third one in there. His little arms were all you could see. But Landon, Curran, and Luke, and hopefully Hazel for the next one. No pressure, Megs. It was my mom's name, so a little inside joke here. So we'll see. But anyway, thank you all for this great honor. Debbie and everybody at EMA, thank you all. Thanks.
Okay, how many times do I get to do this in my life? Ladies and gentlemen, we love this guy. There isn't a more iconic Los Angelino than Snoop Dogg.
Don't stop, Rocky. Keep playing. Keep playing. Don't stop. Don't stop. Keep playing. What's happening, y'all? I like the way y'all sound right there. Shout out to the band. They play so beautiful, don't you agree? I think I know what y'all playing. That's how you feel? All right. Can I do something to it? Can I do something to it? Okay, let's see.